I worked as a night watchman at the city morgue for 10 years, and if you think the dead are the most terrifying part of the job, you are dead wrong. The dead are the best clients. They don't complain, they don't make noise, and they are never late. The terrifying part is the living, or what sometimes comes after them. That night had started out just like any other. I took over the shift at 10 in the evening. Old Dr. Miller, who was finishing his day duty, looked at me tiredly, took off his glasses, and said that everything was quiet, we had no new admissions, and the logbook was on the table. I checked the coolers. Only 10 out of the 30 chambers were occupied. I signed the log, saw the doctor out, locked the heavy front door, and sat down at my desk to drink coffee and read a book. Outside, a cold autumn rain was falling, beating steadily against the windows. The hallways of the morgue carried that distinct, sterile, and slightly chemical smell, a mix of formalin and cold metal that I had long grown used to. Time flowed slowly, and the faint buzzing of the fluorescent lights was the only sound inside. It was past midnight, around 1 in the morning, when the internal phone rang. The sharp sound made me jump. The receptionist told me to get ready because they were bringing someone in. There had been a severe accident on the highway. A car had collided with a truck. It was a girl, identity not yet confirmed, dead at the scene. A few minutes later, the blue flashing lights of the ambulance appeared outside the window. I opened the back entrance door, and the air filled with the smell of rain and wet asphalt. 2 paramedics, Tom and Chris, whom I had known for years, wheeled the gurney inside. They were unusually quiet and pale. Under the sheet lay a young girl. As they transferred the body to the morgue table, the sheet slid down slightly. Her face was barely visible through the horrific injuries and blood, but her long, wet brown hair clung to her forehead. Tom said in a low voice that it was a very heavy case and that the police were still working at the scene. They wished me luck and left. I processed the paperwork, moved the body into refrigerator chamber number 14, closed the heavy door, and heard the characteristic click of the metal lock. I was left alone again, with the silence and 30 corpses. About an hour passed. The clock showed 2:15. I was trying to focus on my book, but an internal anxiety wouldn't let me. Then suddenly I started hearing strange noises coming from the refrigerator room. It sounded like a light scratching or a tapping of fingers on a metallic surface. Anyone who works in a morgue knows that bodies sometimes make noises due to muscle contractions or escaping gases, but this was different. The sound was rhythmic and seemed to repeat. I got up from my seat, grabbed my flashlight, and went to check. The room was cold as always, and the ceiling light flickered faintly. The sound stopped the moment I walked in. I slowly approached chamber number 14, held my breath, and waited. Suddenly, it seemed to me that the heavy door handle moved down slightly. "Your nerves are giving out, Henry," I told myself and turned around to leave. And right at that moment, a voice caught my breath, making my heart literally stop. It was a weak, wet, and barely audible whisper coming right from chamber number 14. Under the sound of the rain, I clearly heard the words, "Open up, it's so cold in here." I froze on the spot, unable to move a single muscle. My brain refused to believe what I was hearing. The whisper repeated, this time louder and more demanding, "I know you're out there. Open the door. Help me." In my entire practice, I had never encountered anything like this. Maybe she had survived, maybe the doctors were wrong. With a trembling hand, I reached for the handle to open the chamber, but I stopped. Something was wrong. I remembered the girl's horrific injuries, which were incompatible with life. In that case, who or what was speaking from inside the chamber? I backed away from the door, my heart pounding as if it wanted to burst out of my chest. The whisper suddenly turned into a low, sinister laugh that didn't sound human at all. Then, such a violent blow hit the inside of the door that the entire metal structure shook. At that moment, terror overcame all my senses. I ran to my desk, grabbed my coat, my phone, and without looking back, rushed out of the morgue. I left everything open, the lights, the logbook, the doors, and ran out into the rain, while that sinister laugh still echoed in my ears. By 8 in the morning, I was already at the police station. After the horror of the night, I couldn't go home. It felt like if I closed my eyes, I would hear that wet whisper again. I came to the station myself, prepared to be accused of abandoning my workplace or simply going insane. I was received by Senior Detective Carter, an older man with a tired face, who listened to my fragmented, trembling voice in silence for a long time. When I finished, he didn't smile and he didn't say I was crazy. He simply took out a cigarette, lit it, and said in a low voice that the girl's name was Emily, and he could tell me one thing for sure. Her purse and phone had been taken by their field team immediately at the crash scene, and they were sitting in his desk drawer right now. In other words, there was no purse or phone in the morgue for anyone to come after. I looked at the detective in confusion and asked who was inside then and what that voice was. The detective sighed, opened his computer and turned the screen toward me. He said that half an hour after I fled, the morning shift doctor and the police arrived at the morgue because I had accidentally hit the panic button while running. He turned on the night recording from the security cameras. The screen showed the morgue's refrigerator room. The time was 2:10. The video showed me running out of the room in terror. Exactly 2 minutes later, from a dimly lit corner of the room, where the empty heavy zinc boxes used for transporting bodies were stored, a man slowly slid out. He was dressed in green medical scrubs, wearing a mask and a surgical cap. He was very calm. He approached chamber number 14, opened it, looked at the dead girl, and then pulled a small medical syringe from his pocket. I whispered, asking if this man was a doctor, and the detective confirmed with hatred that it was Dr. Evans, the very same doctor who had pronounced Emily dead at the hospital 2 hours earlier and sent her to me. Detective Carter opened the criminal case file and explained the whole situation. Emily was the daughter of a wealthy businessman. She had been in a car accident, but she was still alive when she was transported to the hospital. Her injuries were severe but not fatal. However, the doctor on duty, Evans, had received a massive amount of money from Emily's stepmother to get rid of the girl so that the entire inheritance would pass to them. Evans had injected the girl at the hospital with a powerful comatose drug that almost completely stops heart activity and breathing, creating the illusion of death. He had forged the death certificate and quickly sent her to the morgue. I listened in shock and asked if the girl had been alive inside the refrigerator. The detective said yes, the effect of the drug had begun to wear off in the cold environment, and the girl had regained consciousness inside the chamber. What I had heard, the tapping, the whispers of "it's cold in here," was the actual cry of a freezing living human being in her death throes. She really was begging for help. My throat went dry and I asked about that sinister laugh and the blow. The detective explained that that was already Dr. Evans. He knew that the drug's effect could wear off, and if the coroners examined the body in the morning, they would find traces of the substance. He had slipped in through the back door when the paramedics left and hid in the corner, waiting for the right moment to inject a second fatal dose that would kill the girl permanently and cover up everything. When I approached the chamber, the doctor realized that if I opened the door and saw the living girl, his plan would fail. From behind, out of the darkness, he began making those strange noises, altered his voice with a malicious chuckle, and hit the neighboring chamber door to drive me mad and force me to flee. And his plan worked. I fled. The video showed Evans giving the second injection to the helpless girl. By the time the police team arrived, Emily was already truly dead, but Evans didn't manage to leave the building. They caught him right in the hallway and he was now in custody. Years have passed since that incident, but I could never forgive myself. The reality was much more terrifying than any mysticism. There was no monster, no ghost that night. There was only a heartless, greedy killer in a white coat, and a poor girl who was calling for help while dying in an ice chamber, while I, a watchman with 10 years of experience, fled in terror, leaving her alone with her executioner. Now I know for sure, do not be afraid of the dead, they will never hurt you. Be afraid of the living because their cold-bloodedness and cruelty know no bounds.